It was a bright and sunny Saturday afternoon, and the air was filled with the usual sounds of a busy grocery store. People were coming and going, pushing carts full of fresh fruits, vegetables, and other groceries. The smell of baked bread drifted from the bakery section, mixing with the faint scent of fresh flowers displayed near the entrance. It was a place where families, young couples, and older shoppers all came together to do their weekend shopping. Lisa had been working at this grocery store for almost 3 years. She was known by her co-workers and many regular customers as a friendly and hard-working clerk. She worked at the checkout counter, scanning items and helping people bag their groceries with a smile. But today, Lisa was looking forward to finishing her shift and going home to relax. She loved her job but also enjoyed her free time, especially on weekends when she could rest or spend time with friends. As her shift came to an end, Lisa felt a sense of satisfaction. She had helped many customers today, answering questions about where to find certain products or helping older shoppers carry their bags to their cars. Even though the job could sometimes be tiring, Lisa always tried to be kind and patient because she believed that small acts of kindness made a big difference. After ringing up the last customer, Lisa took off her name tag and said goodbye to her co-workers. She was getting ready to leave the store when her manager asked her to take out the trash from the parking lot area before she left. It was a small task, but Lisa didn't mind. She grabbed the trash bags and stepped outside. The parking lot was large and busy, filled with cars of all shapes and sizes. People were loading groceries into their vehicles, chatting with friends, and watching their children play nearby. The sun shone brightly, casting long shadows across the asphalt. The day felt peaceful and normal, the kind of day when nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. Lisa carried the trash bags toward the dumpster at the far end of the lot. As she walked, she noticed a young woman struggling with a baby stroller. The woman's face looked worried, and she was glancing around as if she needed help. Lisa felt a small tug in her heart. She knew that being a parent was not easy, and she understood how stressful it could be to take care of a baby, especially in a busy and noisy place. Just then, Lisa heard a sudden cry coming from the stroller. It was a sharp, panicked sound that made her stop in her tracks. She looked closer and saw the baby's tiny hands flailing and the woman's face turning pale. Something was wrong. Without thinking twice, Lisa dropped the trash bags near the dumpster and rushed toward the stroller. She gently put her hand on the woman's shoulder and asked, "Is everything okay? What's happening?" The woman's voice trembled as she replied, "My baby, he's choking. I don't know what to do. Please help." Lisa's heart raced, but she stayed calm. She had taken a CPR course a few months ago, and although she was not a medical professional, she remembered some of the basic steps she had learned. She knelt down beside the stroller and carefully lifted the baby out, holding him securely. The baby's face was red and scrunched up, and he was gasping for air. Lisa looked inside his mouth and saw that a small piece of food was blocking his airway. The mother was crying quietly, her hands shaking as she watched Lisa work. Lisa took a deep breath and began to gently tap the baby's back, hoping to dislodge the object. After a few tries, the baby coughed and took a shaky breath. His cries turned into small whimpers and he slowly relaxed in Lisa's arms. The mother's eyes filled with tears and she hugged Lisa tightly. "Thank you. Thank you so much," she whispered. "You saved my baby's life." Lisa smiled softly, feeling a mix of relief and happiness. She told the mother, "It's okay, he's going to be fine. Just try to stay calm and keep an eye on him for a little while." For a moment, everything around them seemed to pause. People nearby had stopped what they were doing and were watching quietly. Some shoppers whispered to each other about what had happened. Lisa noticed a few of her co-workers coming outside, having heard the commotion. After a few minutes, the baby began to calm down completely, smiling up at his mother as if nothing had happened. The mother thanked Lisa again and promised to be more careful in the future. Lisa helped the mother put the baby back in the stroller, making sure he was comfortable and safe. She then looked around the parking lot, feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and pride. What had started as an ordinary day had turned into something very different, something important. As Lisa walked back toward the store, she didn't realize that someone else had been watching everything unfold. In the distance, behind the tinted windows of a shiny black limousine parked nearby, the baby's father sat quietly. He had just arrived from an important business meeting and had not stepped out of the car. Through the window, he had seen Lisa's quick and brave actions. He felt a deep sense of gratitude and admiration for this woman he didn't even know. At that moment, he understood how lucky his family was to have someone like Lisa nearby, a stranger who had the courage to step in and help without hesitation. For Lisa, the afternoon continued like any other, but the experience left a lasting impression on her. She thought about how small actions can have big effects and how being prepared can sometimes make all the difference. She also realized how important it was to pay attention to the people around you, because you never know when you might be the one who can help. The grocery store and its busy parking lot were still full of life, but for Lisa, something had changed. That day she had become more than just a clerk. She had become a lifesaver. The moment Lisa stepped outside with the trash bags, she sensed that something was wrong, even before she heard the baby's cry. The young mother was standing near the stroller, her face pale and her hands shaking. The baby's loud, panicked cries cut through the usual noise of the busy parking lot. Lisa's heart instantly jumped. She knew she had to act fast. Without hesitation, she hurried over to the mother and stroller, her mind racing but her body steady. The mother looked at her with desperation, tears in her eyes. "My baby is choking," she said, her voice trembling. "I don't know what to do." Lisa's calmness was a contrast to the chaos around them. Though she was not a doctor or nurse, she had taken a CPR and first aid class at her community center a few months ago. The lessons had stuck with her, but nothing had prepared her for the real thing, not until now. She knelt beside the stroller and gently lifted the baby into her arms. The child was small, only a few months old, with soft, fine hair and tiny fingers curled tightly. His face was red and scrunched up, his chest rising and falling rapidly as he struggled to breathe. Lisa could see the fear in the mother's eyes, and she felt an overwhelming need to help. The baby's tiny mouth was open, but no air was passing through. Lisa quickly looked inside and saw a small piece of food stuck deep in his throat. She remembered from her training that this could be very dangerous, even life-threatening if not cleared quickly. She carefully positioned the baby face down on her forearm, supporting his head with one hand. Then, using the heel of her other hand, she gave him firm but gentle taps between his shoulder blades. The baby coughed weakly but still seemed to be in distress. Lisa didn't give up. She repeated the process, determined to help the baby clear his airway. After a few tense moments, the baby suddenly let out a strong cough and Lisa saw the piece of food fly out from his mouth. The baby's breathing slowed, and his color gradually returned to a healthier pink. His cries softened into small whimpers, then quieted entirely. The mother gasped in relief, tears streaming down her cheeks as she watched Lisa comfort her child. Thank you so much," she said over and over, her voice choked with emotion. "You saved my baby." Lisa smiled gently and handed the baby back to the mother, who hugged him tightly. "He's going to be fine now," Lisa assured. You just have to stay calm and watch him closely for a little while." For a moment, the busy world around them seemed to stop. People nearby had paused their own errands, drawn to the sudden drama. Some shoppers whispered among themselves, impressed by Lisa's quick action. A few employees from the grocery store stepped outside, curious about what was happening. Lisa stood up, feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. The adrenaline was still flowing through her veins, but she knew she had done what was necessary. It wasn't about praise or recognition. It was about saving a life. The young mother wiped her tears and looked at Lisa with deep gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, and you just came out of nowhere." Lisa shook her head modestly. "I'm just glad I was here. I took a CPR class recently, and I hoped I'd never have to use it. But it's important to learn these things now. You never know when they might help." The mother nodded, pulling her baby close. "I will make sure to take a class too," she said. "Today could have ended so badly if you hadn't been here." Lisa glanced back toward the grocery store and then out into the parking lot. She noticed a few people watching quietly from a distance, their faces serious and respectful. One of them was a man sitting in a limousine nearby. She didn't know it yet, but he was the baby's father, having just returned from an important meeting. He had not gotten out of the car because he was caught up in calls on his phone. From behind the tinted windows, he saw everything. Lisa's calm response, her gentle hands, the way she saved his child's life. He felt a wave of gratitude and awe wash over him. Back with the mother, Lisa helped secure the baby safely in the stroller again. She checked to make sure the straps were tight and that the baby was comfortable. The mother smiled at her, this time with a calmer expression. Lisa realized how important it was to remain prepared for emergencies, even in the most ordinary places. The grocery store parking lot was usually a place for simple errands, not life-saving moments. But life could surprise anyone at any time. The mother slowly pushed the stroller toward her car, frequently glancing at her baby to make sure he was okay. Lisa watched them go, feeling a quiet pride inside her chest. It was a feeling unlike any other, the feeling that she had truly made a difference. As Lisa turned back toward the store, she noticed the growing crowd of people who had stopped to watch. Some were speaking softly about the incident, telling each other how brave the grocery clerk had been. Lisa felt a bit shy, but also proud to have helped in such an important way. She thought about the many lessons she had learned during her CPR training, about staying calm, about being careful but quick, and about the power of kindness in a moment of crisis. She hoped more people would learn these skills so that anyone could be ready to help when needed. Lisa returned to the store to finish her final task before leaving. Even though the shift was over, she knew this day would stay with her for a long time. She felt a new sense of purpose, a reminder that every person could make a difference no matter where they worked or what they did. Meanwhile, the man in the limousine finally stepped out. He took a deep breath and looked toward the spot where Lisa had saved his son. He felt a deep gratitude that words could not fully express. He decided that he would find a way to thank her properly because, in his eyes, she was a hero. As Lisa left the store and headed home, the sky began to change colors, softening into the warm shades of evening. The busy parking lot slowly emptied as people finished their errands. But for Lisa, the day had been anything but ordinary. It had been a day when courage, kindness, and quick thinking had come together to save a precious life. And for that, she would always remember this moment. A moment when she stepped up without hesitation and showed what it meant to truly care. While Lisa was helping the young mother and her baby in the parking lot, no one noticed a sleek black limousine quietly parked just a short distance away. The windows were tinted dark, hiding the person inside from the outside world. Behind those dark windows sat the baby's father, Michael, who had just arrived from a long business meeting. He had been focused on his phone, dealing with work calls and emails when he suddenly looked up and noticed the commotion outside. Through the glass, Michael saw Lisa move quickly to help the baby. He watched as she calmly took the child in her arms, her face full of focus and care. From the safety of his car, Michael felt helpless, wishing he could step out and do something himself. But he was caught up in work, distracted and unprepared for what was happening right outside his window. Michael's heart pounded as he saw Lisa gently tap the baby's back, trying to clear the tiny airway. He held his breath, not wanting to miss a moment. Time seemed to slow as the baby coughed and finally began to breathe again. Relief washed over Michael like a wave. He felt deeply grateful to the stranger who had saved his child's life. At that moment, he realized something important. No matter how busy life got or how important work seemed, there were things that mattered more: family, safety, and the kindness of people willing to help others without expecting anything in return. For a few minutes, Michael remained inside the car, watching Lisa comfort the baby and the mother. He could see the tears of gratitude on the mother's face and the quiet pride in Lisa's expression. He was struck by the fact that this grocery clerk, someone he had never met, had become a hero in his family's story. As Lisa handed the baby back to his mother and helped secure him safely in the stroller, Michael's respect for her grew even more. He knew he wanted to thank her properly, but he also wanted to understand her better. Who was this woman who had acted so bravely and calmly under pressure? Michael finally closed his laptop and stepped out of the limousine. The afternoon sun warmed his face as he approached the small crowd that had gathered near the stroller. The moment felt important, a chance to connect, to express gratitude, and maybe even to learn from someone so generous and strong. Lisa turned around as she heard footsteps approaching. She was surprised to see a well-dressed man walking toward her with a kind smile. He introduced himself as Michael, the baby's father. His voice was steady but carried the weight of sincere thanks. "I just want to say thank you," Michael said, shaking Lisa's hand warmly. "You saved my son's life today. I was inside that limousine watching, and I couldn't believe how calm and quick you were. I'm very grateful." Lisa felt a flush of modesty but nodded politely. "I'm just glad I was here and could help. Anyone who knows what to do can save a life. That's why it's so important to learn CPR and first aid." Michael smiled and said, "You're right. Today was a powerful reminder for me too. I've been so busy with work that I haven't thought enough about these things. I'm going to make sure my family and I get trained as soon as possible." As they spoke, the mother gently rocked the baby in the stroller, watching the conversation with a quiet smile. The atmosphere was warm and full of appreciation. Other shoppers nearby looked on, some whispering about the amazing event they had witnessed. Michael asked Lisa if she would be willing to stay for a few minutes so they could talk more. He wanted to know her story, how she had learned CPR, what made her so calm in a crisis, and what advice she had for others. Lisa agreed, and they found a quiet spot near the store entrance. She shared how she had taken a community course a few months earlier after hearing about how important it was to be ready for emergencies. She told Michael how the training had given her confidence, but also how she never expected to use the skills in real life. Michael listened intently, impressed by Lisa's humility and strength. He realized that heroes are often ordinary people who choose to act when it matters most. It wasn't about fame or rewards, it was about caring for others. Their conversation continued, touching on the importance of community, kindness, and being prepared for emergencies. Michael spoke about how the experience had changed his perspective on life, how it reminded him to slow down and appreciate what truly matters. Lisa talked about how her job at the grocery store gave her many chances to meet people from different backgrounds and how she enjoyed helping customers in small ways every day. But this moment, saving a baby's life, was unlike anything she had ever imagined. As they talked, the sun began to lower in the sky, casting warm golden light across the parking lot. The busy shopping day was winding down, but the connection between Lisa and Michael felt like the start of something meaningful. Before leaving, Michael promised Lisa that he would share her story with his friends, family, and colleagues. He wanted everyone to know about the incredible courage of this woman who had stepped up when it mattered most. He also said he would work to spread awareness about CPR training, hoping more people would be ready to help in emergencies. Lisa smiled, feeling both proud and humble. She knew she hadn't done anything extraordinary, just what anyone could do with the right knowledge and willingness. But she also understood that her actions had made a real difference, and that was something special. As Michael walked back to his limousine, he glanced once more at Lisa, silently thanking her again. He felt lucky to have witnessed such kindness and bravery and hopeful that their paths might cross again. For Lisa, the day had changed in ways she hadn't expected. What started as a normal afternoon shift had turned into a moment of courage, connection, and new understanding. She felt inspired to continue learning and helping others, knowing that even small actions could have great power. The story of the grocery clerk who saved a baby in the parking lot was not just about a single act of heroism. It was about the way people can come together, even strangers, to protect and care for one another. It was about the strength found in kindness, calmness, and readiness. And in that warm evening light, both Lisa and Michael knew that life was full of unexpected moments that remind us what truly matters. The next morning, Lisa returned to the grocery store for her usual shift. Everything looked the same aisles, the same shelves, and the same bell above the entrance that rang each time someone came in. But inside her heart, everything felt different. Word about what had happened in the parking lot had started to spread. Customers whispered as she walked by, and a few co-workers smiled at her with quiet admiration. Lisa didn't want attention. She had only done what she hoped anyone else would do in the same situation. But it was clear that something about her calm actions had touched people. After stocking the bread shelf and helping an elderly customer reach a box of cereal, Lisa went to the back room for her break. As she sat down with her water bottle, her manager, Mrs. Cruz, walked in holding a small envelope. "Lisa," she said with a warm smile, "I just want to say how proud we are of you. What you did yesterday was amazing. You didn't just help a customer, and you saved a life." Lisa smiled softly and thanked her. She wasn't sure what to say. She didn't see herself as a hero, just someone who had remembered her training and acted when she saw someone in trouble. Mrs. Cruz handed her the envelope. "Someone dropped this off for you this morning. Said it was a small token of thanks." Lisa opened the envelope and was surprised to find a handwritten letter. The handwriting was neat and careful, and the paper smelled slightly of expensive cologne. The letter was from Michael, the man from the Limousin, the baby's father. In the letter, Michael thanked Lisa once again for her quick thinking and courage. He wrote about how deeply her actions had affected his family. He also said that he hadn't been able to stop thinking about her calm nature and how much he had learned just by watching her that day. At the end of the letter, Michael wrote something unexpected. "I would like to meet with you again if you're comfortable. I don't just want to thank you. I want to know more about the person who reminded me what truly matters in life." Lisa held the letter in her hands, reading the words again slowly. It was kind, respectful, and filled with genuine gratitude. She wasn't sure what to think. She had never been in the spotlight before, and certainly not in this way. Later that day, while working at the cash register, she noticed a familiar figure walking into the store. It was Michael. He wasn't wearing a suit this time, just a simple shirt and jeans, but his smile was just as warm and polite as before. He waited until Lisa was done helping a customer, then gently approached the counter. "Hi again," he said. "I hope it's okay that I stopped by." Lisa nodded. "Of course, I read your letter." "Thank you for your kind words." Michael smiled. "It's the least I could do. My wife and I still can't stop talking about how lucky we were that you were there yesterday. Our son is doing great, by the way." Lisa's face lit up. "That's good to hear. I was hoping everything turned out well." Michael paused for a moment, then said, "I was wondering, would you be willing to have coffee with me sometime, just as a thank you? I'd love to hear more about your story, your training, your work, your life. No pressure at all." Lisa hesitated, but only for a moment. There was something about Michael's honest tone and the way he spoke with such respect that made her feel at ease. "Sure," she replied with a gentle smile. "That would be nice." They agreed to meet the next afternoon at a nearby coffee shop. It wasn't fancy, just a quiet place with wooden tables, warm lighting, and the soft sound of music in the background. Lisa wore her favorite sweater and jeans, still feeling a bit nervous as she walked in. Michael was already there, sitting at a corner table with 2 cups of coffee. He stood when he saw her and greeted her like an old friend. As they sat down, the conversation flowed easily. Michael asked about her job at the store, how long she had worked there, and what made her take a CPR class. Lisa explained that she had always believed in being prepared. "Sometimes," she said, "we wait for someone else to step up. But I've learned that we can all make a difference if we just try." Michael nodded thoughtfully. "That's something I've been thinking about too. I spend so much time in meetings, in offices, but real life happens in moments like the one we had yesterday. It reminded me to be more present." They talked for over an hour, sipping coffee and sharing stories. Lisa learned that Michael ran a small tech company and had grown up in the city. He loved reading, nature, and spending time with his family. though he admitted he hadn't done enough of that lately. As they talked, Lisa felt her nerves fade away. Michael wasn't just someone from a limousine. He was kind, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in what she had to say. He listened without judgment, and he smiled at the small details of her stories. Before they parted, Michael thanked her again. "You didn't just help my family," he said. "You reminded me what kind of person I want to be." Lisa walked home that evening with a quiet joy in her heart. She had never expected any of this. Not the moment in the parking lot, not the letter, and certainly not a peaceful coffee conversation with someone who had once been a stranger. Life, she thought, could surprise you in the most unexpected ways. A simple job, a quiet act of courage, and a moment of care could lead to something far more meaningful. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in soft orange and pink, Lisa looked forward to tomorrow. Not because something big might happen, again, but because now she knew small moments could change lives, and maybe, just maybe, her story was just beginning. The days following Lisa and Michael's coffee meeting felt like the start of something new for both of them. Lisa returned to her daily life at the grocery store, but now each day held a little more meaning. She found herself smiling more, feeling proud of the person she was becoming. It wasn't about being famous or receiving praise. It was about knowing that she had made a real difference. Michael, too, carried a changed heart. His life had been full of busy schedules and meetings, but after seeing Lisa's courage, he began to rethink his priorities. He decided to spend more time with his family and to help others whenever he could. One afternoon, a week after their coffee, Michael invited Lisa to a community event his company was sponsoring. It was a gathering to raise awareness about first aid and CPR training. Michael had used the story of Lisa's quick actions as a powerful example to encourage others to learn these life-saving skills. Lisa felt honored to be part of the event. She spoke briefly to the crowd, sharing how she had learned CPR at a local community center and how that knowledge helped her save a baby's life. She urged everyone to take training seriously because emergencies can happen anywhere, in a store, at home, or even in a parking lot. People in the audience listened closely. Many came up afterward to thank her and ask questions about how they could get trained. Lisa saw the impact of her story growing, and it gave her a new purpose. The next few months, Lisa and Michael's friendship deepened. They spent time together outside of work and events, enjoying simple pleasures like walks in the park, quiet dinners, and long talks about their dreams and hopes. They discovered that even though they came from very different worlds, they shared many values: kindness, honesty, and a desire to help others. Michael admired Lisa's strength and humility. Lisa appreciated Michael's thoughtful nature and the way he made her feel respected and understood. Their bond was gentle and growing, built on mutual respect and shared experiences. Meanwhile, Lisa continued working at the grocery store. Her co-workers looked up to her now, inspired by her courage and kindness. She sometimes gave short lessons about first aid basics to anyone interested. She wanted to make sure that more people were ready to help when emergencies came. One evening, as Lisa closed the store, she thought about how much her life had changed in such a short time. Just a few weeks ago, she was an ordinary clerk. Now she felt like someone who could truly make a difference. She also thought about the baby she had saved. She hoped he would grow up healthy and strong, surrounded by love. She was grateful for the chance to be part of his story. Michael called her that night. His voice was warm and happy as he said, "Lisa, I just want to thank you again. You've changed my life. I hope we can keep making a difference together, in our own ways." Lisa smiled as she listened. "I feel the same, Michael. It's been unexpected but wonderful. I'm glad we met." The story of the grocery clerk who saved a baby's life had become more than just a moment in a parking lot. It was a story about kindness, courage, and the power of being prepared. It was about how one person's actions could inspire a whole community. And for Lisa and Michael, it was just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with hope, friendship, and the belief that small acts of care can change the world.